Greetings, this is August 11th, just before 11 p.m. and the story this afternoon is rain. It has finally arrived to Gold Country. We were looking at the Begbie Cam and we've rolled into the Big Bar Cam on Highway 97. Not very good visibility. I was watching on Dry BC's replay of the day, and the skies got darker and darker and then it began to dump. Moving a little bit further north, Highway 24, this is a Sheridan Cam looking west towards 93 Mile House. Rain there, a little bit better visibility. We can see some haze in the background. And if we look at the new Sheridan Cam pointing east, some haze in the hills and very nice to see that moisture. Lightning also went through. This is a clip from lightningmap.org, and the link is below. It moved through fairly quickly, then into the Rockies by late afternoon. So jumping over to Windy, we can see these bands of color. That's precipitation, and a lot of it settled in right over 100 Mile House, so very nice to see. And looking ahead, we're supposed to get rain tomorrow, Sunday. That may be accompanied by a wind event later in the afternoon. Could go up above 40 kilometers an hour in the gusts. Then we are apparently back to summer. A little bit cooler, but still a lot of variation in the wind direction. So I highly recommend that you bookmark BC Wildfire Service. The link is below, and check it frequently because they're putting evacuation alerts and orders on the site, and they're going to have where potential fires start out of lightning strikes and other fires of concern, fires of note. One of which looks like it's a new strike at the northeast end of Green Lake. Let's also check in on the fire at Wild Goose Lake. That's just to the left of center of your screen, the large area under alert. And that's grown to 6,600 hectares estimated. And I'll take a look at that on infrared because it is in an area with a lot of dense fuel pockets. West of Quesnel and Prince George, there are a lot of areas under evacuation order and alert on the Nechako Plateau. So if you're traveling up to that area, or if you're unsure of where these notices are, check out the site. You can click on each individual alert area and get more information. And we're looking at a screen right now from the area around Telegraph Creek, and I'll take a closer look at this area on infrared later in the video. We've jumped over to NASA's World View. This is zoomed in to the area around 100 Mile House, 70 Mile House, and you can see the dense smoke and the moving cloud banks that were coming in this afternoon. So I get a little anxious when I can't see infrared and I know there's a fire there because it may be obscured by smoke and clouds. Currently we are picking up these infrared hot spots that are being displayed around the Wild Goose Lake, but there's far fewer visible around the 70 Mile House area. We can see some infrared closer to the right of your screen. That's at Young Lake. And over on the top left, we can see the fire near Alkali Lake. I also want to show you a website that we used last year. It's called Fire Smoke, and it shows an animated picture of smoke travel in the area. You can kind of zoom into different regions and get a run through of the day where the smoke was traveling to, and that may help you out if you have some concerns about visibility and air quality. And that link will also be in the description below, Fire Smoke. Now we're moving over to the NRC data. I'm just jumping in around 70 Mile House Chasm, and we can see a lot of intensity in the 24-hour map at the Wild Goose Lake fire. The perimeters have expanded. We saw the fire itself has grown to 6,600 hectares estimated, and it's moved into areas around Meadow Lake, and it appears to have crossed over White Lake, but this of course has to be verified on BC Wildfire's mapping because they're on the ground. And sometimes these hot spots on infrared that we can see they may be half a kilometer up to a kilometer off. So occasionally we're seeing hot spots in lakes or water bodies, and of course they're not there. So we have to be careful about what we're looking at. I'm just jumping up to the northern flank of the Wild Goose Lake fire and looking at some of these forested pockets so I can get an indication of where fuel sources are. If we zoom right in, this satellite imagery may be outdated a bit, but it gives us kind of an indication of what's between the fire and us. And of course we're looking at some open areas, some open blocks, and they may be filled with pasture grasses, and those can travel quite quickly. So this rain coming in now is definitely a good thing and a help. Okay, we're moving northwards now, looking at the NRC data. I'd like to take a look at Telegraph Creek because it's very far north. Often it's really hard to get it into the same map. And we'll just zoom in and look at what this community is facing. They've got extensive evacuation orders around this area. It looks like a complex fire. This is R91-947, and it's over 28,000 hectares. Estimated size to date. Cause was lightning. And this fire started on the 1st of August, and this community has been now almost half a month dealing with the trauma of a forest fire and in a very remote location. We can see the main concentrations of infrared in the river valley, in the low-lying areas, with outlying concentrations on the hillsides. We are looking at a 24-hour map, and now we're looking at the 6 and 12-hour map, so we can see where most of the new infrared is being generated, and it's within those pockets of the valley along the river and moving to the south up the hillside. We'll take a look at the RSAC VIIRS infrared. This is the radiative scan, and it shows us where concentrations of heat are. The purple and blue are cooler areas, and the yellow, orange, red, those are the hottest concentrations. We'll zoom into Telegraph Creek, and you can see there really is a random nature to the placement of the hottest infrared being displayed, but it does appear to be concentrated within the existing fire perimeter rather than having all that heat on the fringes and traveling, like we were able to see on the Wild Goose Lake fire as it was moving northward yesterday. We've rolled into a three-dimensional image of the area. This gives you a chance to see the lay of the land, how the fire is concentrated in the valley, and then up over top on the Stikine Plateau. We're looking from west towards the east, and we can see the concentration of large forested blocks. These are potential fuel routes that the fire can travel if the wind conditions are right. We're now looking at an image from NASA's World View. This is from today. And we can see how dense that smoke is and how it's following along the valley lines. Pulling back, looking at northern British Columbia, at the bottom right of your screen, you can see that cloud front, and that's pushing northwards, but in the north itself, clear. However, it looks that the wind conditions are pushing from the east and not at a great velocity, so the smoke is hanging around where the fire is. And back to Highway 97. I'll leave you with this very pleasing image from the Begbie webcam high up on Begbie, where we usually get a clear day, and today there is precipitation, and that's a good sign. Thank you very much for watching, and if you are a new subscriber, I try to do these videos as often as I can. I check the infrared in the morning and in the evening, and then throughout the day if there's activity showing up. So have BC Wildfire and the regional emergency operations bookmarked on your desktop or on your phone so that you can check whenever you need to make sure that there hasn't been new alerts or notices come up. Be safe, everyone. Keep your nose to the breeze.